Warning, some of this chapter is extremely scray. Viewer excretion advised. Welcome to the No Theme Show, the show with no theme. I'm Emily, and today's not a theme is fanfiction. Speckwork's much sexier and much gayer cousin. Every 13-year-old girl's favorite extracurricular activity, the sole reason Supernatural ran for as many seasons as it did.
Don't stop on my count.
If you're a fic civilian, then you might hear the word fanfic and associate it with sexed up tweens writing about boys kissing other boys. You might also think about porn. Lots and lots of porn. And you would not be wrong. Fanfiction is as much a form of artistic expression as it is a sexy enclave for sweet, sweet depravity. But today we're going to take a closer look at the history behind fanfiction. Where did it come from? Who's making it? What the heck is the deal with all this porn? And what fic should you read out loud for your crush at a poetry jam?
I would never punk you, Ashton pronounced. Rather, I am in love with you. They Frenched.
Let's do history! Yay! Where did fanfiction even come from, and how long has it been a thing? Well, the actual word fan originates from the Latin word fanaticus, meaning divinely inspired. Around 1550, we shortened that word to fanatic, meaning marked by excessive enthusiasm and often intense, uncritical devotion. Essentially, there are two parts to fandom: the all-encompassing fandom part and the fanatic part. Pretty much everyone has at some point in their life been a part of fandom, whether they thought so or not. My rule of thumb is if you own mugs, dishware, or blankets with something's logo on it, then you're a part of fandom. But fanfiction is that extra expression of the fanatic's excessive and uncritical enthusiasm. So when did that start? Well, the short answer is forever ago. Fans have been writing fanfic since pretty much the advent of modern language. Classics like Dante's Inferno and Paradise Lost. Even the Bible couldn't escape the fanficker's touch. Hello, New Testament, in your new sexy brooding male lead. As long as people have been making things, fans have been writing things about those things. But modern fanfiction as we know it didn't enter the chat until some super smart people made a couple key inventions. Hey mimeograph, what's up? The mimeograph works by forcing ink through a stencil onto paper, which was perfect for printing small quantities. It was also cheap and widespread, two essential ingredients to encouraging fandom. And then came along the Xerox machine, which really helped fanfickers out because instead of assembling a bunch of stencils in a typeboard, you could touch a button and oh, there's your entire fanzine. So by the 1900s, fandom had almost all the ingredients it needed to evolve into its most sentient and horny form. It was just missing one thing: the actual fandom. What are we going to get fanatical about? Like I said, fandom is nothing new. People literally sent Arthur Conan Doyle hate mail when he killed Sherlock off, which is a true sign that your following has morphed into full-fledged fandom. The issue is that the right recipe of inspiring work, plus fan enthusiasm, plus available communication tools didn't really exist all at the same time. Until the 1960s, filled with hippies, pot, and these two sexy bastards, Spock and Kirk. Yeah, that's literally all it took. Just these two dudes on screen together a few times, and in a collision of cosmic proportions, Spirk was born. Spirk, despite sounding like a bodily function you didn't know about until your 30s, was a big, raging success. Seriously, people were spirking everywhere. But it wasn't until someone spirked Spockanalia, the first ever fanzine, that this fandom shit really got off the ground. With just one press of a Xerox button, Spockanalia found its way into thousands of fan hands. F-hands, if you will. And no one had bigger F-hands than the creator of Star Trek himself, Gene Roddenberry. See, Roddenberry liked Spockanalia so much he made it required reading for any new writers joining his show. He even wrote a personal letter to the writers of the zine to include in their second edition. But his greatest contribution to the fandom was possibly the name he coined for his fans, which people still use today: Trekkies. So for a long time, this Trekkie thing was the biggest fish in fandom. Smaller fandoms popped up here and there, but none could compete with the Trekkie megalodon. That is, until some more super smart people made another technical advancement that would help fandom grow even more.
The internet, cyberspace, set free, hello virtual reality.
coincidentally, around the same time as the internet was being born, a single mother in England was dreaming about a little boy wizard. It's Harry Potter!
You're a wizard, Harry.
Fandom really liked their boy wizard, and thanks to the powers of this new internet thing, sites like Gaia and LiveJournal gave fans a platform for other fans to host their boy wizard fanworks. Then, in 1998, fanfiction.net entered the chat, bringing with it a whole new way for fans to fan. Suddenly, there was one host site that fans from all different types of fandoms could post on. Together, Harry Potter fans could Potter, Trekkies could Spurk, and Skolder fans could... hold up. Skolder. Let's back up a second. Meet Skolder, the sexy alien investigating, shoulder pad having, 90s hair wearing duo from the renowned show The X-Files. Maybe if they'd spent as much time investigating their unresolved sexual tension as they did aliens, fans wouldn't need to write so many fics about their relationship. But they didn't. So fans definitely did. In fact, the very first fic ever posted to fanfic.net is a Skolder fic called Little Helper. During the early 2000s, fanfiction.net was the go-to site for fans to post their works. See, although LiveJournal and Gaia previously offered fans like-minded communities where they could share their writing, these communities were disorganized and hard to navigate.
I can't even say there's a pathway.
But fanfiction.net, on the other hand, had a unique organization system that allowed fans to categorize their fic by fandom, pairing, rating, and even genre. So, say you're in the Skolder fandom and you're really hankering for an alternate reality fic where Scully is a sorceress and Mulder is her sex mage. Yeah, you can easily find that now. You can find like 10 of that. Fanfiction.net made fandom more accessible to your fic civilian. More people reading fic means more fans. More fans means more fic being created. Throughout the early to mid 2000s, fandom steadily grew, especially for notable fandom heavyweights like Inuyasha, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and everyone's favorite Mormon vampire romance, Twilight. But even though fandom was going strong behind the scenes of pretty much every popular show or movie, fans were reluctant to claim the title of fan, especially since not every creator embraced their fans like Roddenberry did back in the good old Trekkie days. In fact, some creators straight up sued their fans. Let's take a small moment to talk about Anne Rice, fandom's worst villain. Rice, if you're not familiar with her, wrote the wildly popular book series The Vampire Chronicles, which also includes the famous book-to-movie hit Interview with a Vampire. Unfortunately for all Anne Rice fans back in the day, you'd have a tough time finding any fic inspired by her work. In 2000, Rice posted to her website the following decree: I do not allow fanfiction. The characters are copyrighted. It upsets me terribly to even think about fanfiction with my characters. I advise my readers to write your own original stories with your own characters. It is absolutely essential that you respect my wishes. That same year, fanfiction.net removed Okay?
I heard like a growl or something.
Oh god. That same year, fanfiction.net removed every single fic based on Anne Rice's work. Some fans even claim they were personally targeted by Rice's lawyers with threatening emails, personal attacks on their businesses, and harassing letters sent to people's personal homes. Rice wasn't the first or the last author to target fans writing fanfic for their work. Fox sent cease and desist letters to people who made X-Files fan sites. Even J.K. Rowling sent a cease and desist letter for a website hosting not safe for work Harry Potter fic. So what's the deal? Why do some creators encourage fanfic, and why are some creators Anne Rice? Well, legally, fanfiction is protected under the Parody and Fair Use section of the Copyright Act of 1976. However, sometimes that's not always enough to protect original creators, and sometimes fans are the assholes.
It's for the best.
Hey, please!
Like in the case of Marion Zimmer Bradley. Essentially, Marion Zimmer was a super cool writer chick in the early 1990s who loved and encouraged fanfic of her work, until she realized an upcoming novel of hers accidentally adapted some themes and plot points from fanfic she'd read. So to avoid a lawsuit, she tried negotiating with the fic writer whose work she was inspired by, but when neither party could come to some kind of fair conclusion, she ultimately ended up scrapping the entire release of her book.
Make the right choice, Daniel!
Oops. That's why George R.R. Martin technically allows fanfic as long as you never send it to him or ask about the winds of winter. Author discouragement is a huge part of why fanfiction was stigmatized in the early 2000s. But the continuing stigmatization is one of those complicated topics without one clear answer. Is it because most writers are women? Is it because of the porn thing? What about the gay thing? That's pretty polarizing. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the gay thing for a second. Or, as it's known in fandom, that's gonna have a weird auto-tune on it. One large critique of fanfic is that it fetishizes gay male relationships, even though most authors of fanfic aren't gay men. And that's a fandom stereotype that's true. Most fanfic authors are women. I said it, the secret is out. Us women are writing the best porn out there.
Porn.
And yeah, some of it is pretty problematic. If fanfic writers are overwhelmingly female, and yet almost half of all the fanfic ever is about gay men, then what the is going on? Math. Basically, math made everything gay.
800 dudes multiplied by mean jerk time divided by 4 dicks at a time.
You see, men make up 57% of series regulars on broadcast television, and of those shows, only 35% of speaking roles are played by women. Naturally, that means more screen time for men, and more often than not, more dynamic relationships between male characters than with their female counterparts. So if you're a lady or someone who doesn't normally see themselves represented in traditional media, are you going to be more drawn to the fully fleshed male anti-hero with an awesome backstory, or to the side chick who has half the speaking parts? Yeah, you're probably gonna write about those cool dudes. You might even write about them kissing each other. Hence, the gay thing. Another theory submitted for your approval from the gay agenda is the idea that women are more likely to pick up on homoerotic subtext between characters than male viewers. I mean, just look at all that subtext. And all of that is not to say that a healthy portion of slash fic isn't problematic. Of course, there are women running around fetishizing the experience of gay men. But that is not the average person writing fanfic. The average person writing fanfic is actually pretty non-average. They're more likely to be queer, people of color, trans, basically anyone you don't normally see in your average TV show. Thankfully, things are getting better now, and we're seeing more representation in popular media, which is translating to more representation in fanfic. One of the most popular fanfic relationships of 2019 was a lesbian relationship between 2 Catwoman humanoids from the show She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, which just confirms the more cool characters fans have to write about, the more they'll make them.
Yeah, baby!
Which leads us to the porn thing. Tangentially related to the gay thing, but a topic worth exploring all on its own. Why all this porn? Why?
Why all this porn?
Well, we can blame math again. Basically, math is the gayest, horniest subject out there. Here's them stats. 30% of all fanfic writers identify as a sexual orientation other than straight, meaning they see a whole lot less of the kinds of relationships they're into on screen. And sometimes when you want a job done right, you just have to do it yourself. But there is a second layer to all this porn that isn't just explained by lack of representation in media. It's explained by lack of representation in porn. Notoriously, porn is kind of a one-size-fits-all sexual buffet targeted to one specific audience: men.
What about men?
Fanfic, on the other hand, isn't even a buffet of porn. It's the Wild West. Literally anything goes.
You look like you can handle a woman like me.
You can find any flavor of depravity in fanfiction. It's a lot less regulated than porn. So if you want to read about 2 anthropomorphic cat women getting it on, then you can find thousands of fics that will cover your specific kink. And there are a lot of kinks. It would be a lot harder to find the same experience on a porn site. Fanfic is also completely anonymous. People can make the porn they want to see without anyone knowing they're doing it, unlike actual porn. And if you don't want to read any kind of depraved porn, no problem. Sites like fanfiction.net allow you to sort your fic by rating, from G all the way to mature. So for a while, that's how fandom worked. If you wanted to write erotic fanfic, you'd upload your one-shot to fanfic.net and file it under important science projects like everyone else. That is until fanfiction.net's great adult content purge of the mid-2000s. As with most business decisions that involve catering to a small religious base at the expense of everyone else, fanfic.net unknowingly dug their own grave when they started randomly purging mature content works on their site without any warning. They purged thousands of stories across their site, and for some of these authors, they lost hundreds of thousands of words overnight, permanently. So naturally, people were really, really pissed off.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
And like the saying goes, hell hath no fury like a woman who can't read her smut. But as you know, when one door closes, another one opens. And this one happened to open in 2008 on a brand spanking new host site called Archive of Our Own. Affectionately called AO3, saw the absolute carnage happening over at fanfiction.net and thought, yeah, let's do absolutely none of that.
Nope.
So with the help of the Organization of Transformative Works, best-selling author Naomi Novik and her partner Rebecca Tushnet, a First Amendment rights professor at Harvard, co-founded Archive of Our Own and launched it into beta. Novik and Tushnet designed AO3 to be a completely fan-run, volunteer-only platform to make sure no weird religious investors could take away their porn ever again.
I can feel the fires of hell!
And fans quickly jumped on board the AO3 train, making it the primary fandom hosting site, a title it still holds today. Today, AO3 hosts over 6 million fanworks from over 14,000 fandoms, all of which can be sorted with one of the most advanced tagging systems in the world. No, seriously, AO3 literally won a Hugo Award for its bomb-ass tagging system. You can tag your story with anything. Literally anything. Literally anything. This gave fans power over the content they wanted to see, and more importantly, the content they didn't want to see. One of AO3's unique features is its lax content policy. They have nearly zero content restrictions, relying on users to censor themselves. This policy is a holdover from the trauma caused by people like Anne Rice, fanfic.net, and anyone who has ever tried to censor fanfiction writers, which has been a lot of people. You know, for something that is kind of fringe and considered taboo, a lot of people have sure gone to a lot of trouble to protect the rights of fanfiction. Maybe because for a lot of writers, fanfiction is the launching point for their craft, a safe place they can express themselves and learn the ropes of writing without any fear of judgment. A lot of famous authors have started their careers as fanfiction writers. Cassandra Clare of the Immortal Instrument series, Naomi Novik, a Nebula award-winning author who co-started Archive of Our Own, E.L. James, while not exactly a shining example of literary excellence, did end up low-key sexually awakening millions of moms with her Twilight-inspired book, 50 Shades of Grey.
I would like to you into the middle of next week.
Even Neil Gaiman is a past writer of fanfic. So anyone who questions the legitimacy of fanfic needs only to browse a best-selling authors list for like 1 second, because chances are at least a handful of those wildly successful authors made their start with fanfiction. Even select fanfictions have on occasion made their impact in popular culture, separate from the original work, simply because they are either that good or that bad.
Nailed it!
One infamous example of a fanfic being so bad it's actually excellent is My Immortal, maybe the best thing the internet has ever produced. For those who don't know, My Immortal was a Harry Potter fanfic posted in 2006 by the mysterious author XXX Bloody Wrist 666 XXX. Once a back alley dumpster fire turned cult classic, My Immortal is known for its chaotic plot, charmingly terrible writing, and iconic quotability. Seriously, every line is quotable.
Stop it now, you horny simpletons!
To this day, people can't decide if My Immortal is the writings of a depressed 13-year-old girl or the masterpiece of a comedic genius. And honestly, it's kind of hard to tell. Here, I'll give you a little taste. Chapter 1. Author note. Special thanks, get it, cause I'm gothic, to my girlfriend, ew, not in that way, Raven, Bloody Tears 666, for helping me with the story and spelling. You rock. Justin, you're the love of my depressing life. You rock too. MCR rocks. Hi. My name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway. Hi. My name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway, and I have long ebony black hair That's how I got my name. With purple streaks and red tips that reaches my mid-back, and icy blue eyes like limpid tears. And a lot of people tell me I look like Amy Lee. Author note, if you don't know who she is, get the hell out of here. I'm not related to Gerard Way, but I wish I was because he's a major hottie. I'm a vampire, but my teeth are straight and white. I have pale white skin. I'm also a witch, and I go to a magic school called Hogwarts in England, where I'm in the 7th year. I'm 17. I'm a goth, in case you couldn't tell, and I wear mostly black. I love Hot Topic, and I buy all my clothes from there. For example, today I was wearing a black corset with matching lace around it and a black leather miniskirt, pink fishnets, and black combat boots. I was wearing black lipstick, white foundation, black eyeliner, and red eyeshadow. I was walking outside Hogwarts. It was snowing and raining, so there was no sun, which I was very happy about. A lot of preps stared at me, and I put up my middle finger at them. That's it.
Cut.
My Immortal is hardly the weirdest, most memeable fanfic out there, it's just the best known. There's a famous fanfic about the Hogwarts castle making love to the giant squid at the bottom of the lake. And going back to 50 Shades of Grey, yeah, that used to be Masters of the Universe, which got over 56,000 comments on fanfiction.net. 56,000 individual people typed out their opinions on this fic, and considering how hard it is to get even 5 people to do one thing, that's pretty dang impressive. That's kind of the magic of fanfic. At its least influential, fanfic is a fun way for people to learn how to write.
I had a grot Tim when I was Chickacret.
At its most influential, it's infiltrating pop culture and jumpstarting writing careers. So let's do a little recap. You know where fic comes from, why it's pretty gay, exactly what level of porn you can get out of it, and where you can read that porn. But if, like me, you're now pretty convinced you need to read 100,000 words of Buffy the Vampire Vamp fiction, you gotta learn the talk to walk the walk. So let's learn terms. There are a lot, so we're gonna go really fast. OTP, one true pairing, the ships you ship out of all the ships, which leads us to ship, the 2 or more people you most want to see kiss. AU, alternate universe, equals events that never actually happened in canon, but who cares, this is artistic liberty, baby. Canon, the original fic from whence the fanfic flows. Crossover, plopping one fandom's characters into another. That's how you get Sherlock going to school at Hogwarts. Smut, sexy, sexy, sexy sex. PWP, porn without plot. One shot, one chapter only, angst, pining, longing, unrequited loving, basically all the emotions that hurt. F/F, women on women, M/M, men on men, / more men on men, UST, sexual tension that's unresolved. Slow burn, they don't even touch pinkies for 100,000 words. Drabble, stories of exactly 100 words long. Fanon, facts accepted to be true by fans despite not appearing in canon. And we'll stop there. The list could go on, but nobody has time for that, unless, like me, you are now completely converted to the fanfic way of life and you have time for nothing else. In short, but not that short because we've been talking about this stuff for a really long time, fanfiction is as much an art form as the works it's inspired from. A safe haven for those who need it, where anything goes, nothing is bad, and if anything is bad, it's probably great. In the words of Ebony Darkness, I may be a Hogwarts student, but I am also a Satanist. In other words, fanfiction isn't just one thing. It's as diverse as the people who write it because of the people who write it. There's probably even something in there for you. Or maybe not. That was a really long road. Thanks for going down it with me. If you want to go just a little bit farther, like and subscribe to get more content from me. Our next episode is going to be about ghosts. Yay! Okay, bye!